Fensty here with you, along with AB Adam Bernard, and we are responsible for helping you remember some of the greatest stories in the NBA from the 1990s. A little bit of a special. What's going on, AB? This first time the people get to see you.
Yeah, from behind the glass to in front of the glass now. I'm a 90s NBA is more my thing than current NBA. I do have a good, decent collection of basketball cards from that era. So, I figured this might be a fun way to incorporate a little bit of both Hoops Freak Fensty and a little card collecting.
Absolutely. Your brainchild right here. Welcome to the first ever Card Wars here for Hoops Freak Fensty, where we're going to open up a pack of cards from the 1990s and give you some snap analysis. Just talk about the players that we get and also compare the cards, kind of like the game War, the card game War style, to see who has the better card. You'll see the cards here. We're going with a 1990-1991 Skybox Series II set right here, where when you think about it, the first thing I think anybody does, and AB, you can tell me if this is what you do, when you get a pack of cards, is one of the first things you do is go and check who the rookies were of that year.
Of course. That's the thing. There are years where rookie classes are insane. There are years not so much, and that applies to any sport. So, and you also have to check because a lot of, said Series 2, Skybox is a Series 1. There's going to be rookies in Series 1 that aren't in Series 2. So for this week, the two in the Series 2 Skybox that I think we'd really want to pull, Gary Payton and Derek Coleman would be the top two there.
Oh, I love that. The Gary Payton one with the Sonics, green and yellow right there. Derek Coleman on the New Jersey Nets, which, by the way, make sure you like and subscribe and you catch previous Hoops Freak Fensty episodes where I talk about both Derek Coleman on those New Jersey Nets and Gary Payton on the Seattle Supersonics. The interesting thing, though, Adam, about these cards from the 90s, inserts weren't really popular yet at this time. I feel like they came into account starting in the mid-90s, like 1995 and moving forward. Now, like, inserts these days are almost like regular cards. Back in the early 90s, though, it was all about the rookies. There weren't really any inserts.
The only inserts really had from like those late 80s, early 90s basketball cards were kind of like the all-star card. Like, oh, they made the all-star team. That was one. Occasionally you'd see like a series where they would do like a playoff series, like a recap, because back in the day, even before NBA and NBC, where you could watch all these games, you had no idea how a first-round Rockets-Sun series went out west. But yeah, the mid-90s when you started to see a lot more of insert sets, mail-in sets, parallels, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you get like the one random autograph card that only like 10 were in existence.
Yeah.
That's it, though. That was it. And it wasn't anything special. You'd see like the little signature, and that's it. It wasn't anything glitzy like we have in cards today, nor the prices of cards are anything like they are today. I'll tell you that much. Remember, Adam, you could go into a store there and just get a pack for $1. It's not like that anymore.
You could walk into a hobby shop like when we were kids with like $10 and you felt like you could just go on a shopping spree, You felt like you were walking out of there with probably about 4 packs, maybe 5, and feeling good. Maybe, yeah. Now, good luck finding a pack of cards less than $10.
Those were the best, those card stores where you have all the sets there, and you'd never want to leave the store. You'd want to buy everything. And like Adam just said, they were cheap back then. And definitely, I'd say since the pandemic, card value gone way up. Card prices have gone way up. Let's do this. Shall we get started with card number 1? I have not looked at any of my cards. I have opened my pack already, but I have not looked at any of my cards. This is going to be like a kind of what would be the equivalent of a blind taste test right here. So let's unveil card number 1. Don't know who this is. 3, 2, 1. Boom.
All right. So Greg Kite versus a Felton Spencer rookie card. So you might have a tough time deciding who's number 1 here. I mean, Felton Spencer at least had a decent career, if I recall.
Dude, the Magic tried to sign him at one point as an answer to Shaq losing Shaq. Nope, did not work out. I think he was tossed after a game, Felton Spencer. He had maybe half a season. And Greg Kite's not much better, too. When you think about these Orlando teams, Greg Kite wasn't doing much. He was riding the bench for the most part, unless they need to go with an extra size lineup.
All right, so let's see here. I'm gonna go pull up the basketball reference page. I mean, Greg Kite was around for a good 12 years. Played on the Celtics, the Clippers, the Hornets. Let's see, Felton Spencer, about 11 years. All right, who are we giving this to? Who's getting the first point here?
You know what? I'm gonna give it to Felton Spencer.
All right, it's a rookie card too. So,
all right, next card coming out in 3, 2, 1.
Kiki Vandeweghe versus Bill Cartwright.
Ooh,
good matchup.
It's a great matchup. And I'd have to look back, but maybe they were on the same team together because Bill Cartwright was actually a member of the Knicks before being traded for Charles Oakley. Yeah. So, I mean, Bill Cartwright, he wasn't a big guy when it came to the stats by the time he hit the Bulls, but he did such a great job and he can run and he had some mobility. And that definitely helped with the Bulls' triangle offense because part of it being the center has to be one of the points of the triangle in the low post. Often Bill Cartwright for the first of the three-peats of the Bulls' 90s championships.
So who are we thinking here? Who's getting the point here? Kiki or Cartwright?
I think you got to give it to Bill. I like Kiki. Yeah. He's had good journeyman. I think you got to give it to Bill, though. Bill Cartwright's going to get it.
Here's what I'll say, too. I mean, I remember when you would hear the Bulls starting lineups. Bill Cartwright. He has a good PA name.
Yes. Michael Jordan.
Now I got my next card here. It's gonna be interesting to see how we handle this one. But let's pull number 3.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
I have a team card. You have a James Edwards card. So this is a checklist. It's always gonna happen. So is the checklist win or does James Edwards? I would think a player beats a checklist unless it's like a really nice card.
He's a 2-time champion too with the Pistons and everything. They kept him over Rick Mahorn when the expansion for the Timberwolves. Rick Mahorn got left unprotected. The Timberwolves end up drafting him, and he goes, I don't want to go there. He ends up with the Sixers and starts fighting with Isaiah Thomas when they matched up.
So Fensty's up 2-1 here. Got how many are in this pack? I believe this is
15.
15 card pack. So there won't be any ties today. We're gonna have to figure out a tiebreaker system for even number packs. All right. So next one up, 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
You're gonna win this one.
I don't know with Rodney McRae,
Mike Smirik. I mean,
it's like at this point, it's like. Who is more recognizable there? I barely know Rodney McRae. Here he is on the Dallas Mavericks here from the 89-90 season. He actually averaged 7 rebounds. We'll take that. And he scored in double figures too. But there were so many because the visibility wasn't there like it is now where we have the internet and everything. It was harder to get to know like the average Joes. And this is one of them right here.
All right. So you're going to get the win there just because he actually had like a career that came close to a decade, whereas Mike Smirk was like a journeyman for a couple of years there. So you're up 3-1 here. You're off to a good start. Let's see what we got here. 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Terry Cummins, Gerald Wilkins. Ooh, that's a good matchup.
Very good matchup here. Gerald Wilkins, a guy, another journeyman guard who actually had some positive production there, but also with what you have, I mean, Terry Cummins, he, in the 1980s, really made his mark. And that's the thing. While Gerald Wilkins was there too, I have to give it to you here with what Terry Cummins brought to the table. Just a nice forward who really drove with no fear whatsoever. Very tough player. Gerald Wilkins, we like Gerald Wilkins. Nice high flyer, nice dunks, but I'm giving you the point right there.
All right, I'll take it. I needed one because you were starting to pull ahead there. And again, that's probably like one of the closer matchups we're going to have here, but we still got plenty of cards to go. So we are ready to move on to the next one.
All right.
3, 2, 1. Bill Musselman versus Sam Vincent. So a coach versus a future coach. What do we got? Who are we giving this to?
I mean, did he have a lot of success in the NBA? And that's the big question. I don't think so, ultimately. And
I remember him as a Kings head coach for a little while. Yeah, he was not very good.
No. And Sam Vincent, he was one of those that were on like the early Magic team as they were just forming. And remember, at this point, they didn't have Shaq. They had Nick Anderson. Dennis Scott, I want to say they drafted in 1990. And so this was kind of a leftover from the unprotected players that they got in their expansion draft.
We'll give you the point there because Musselman not much of a coach. So Fensty's up 4-2. Let's go to the next one here. After 6 cards, 9 to go. 3, 2, 1. You're gonna have a tough time beating this guy.
Oh, yes, I am. Karl Malone versus.
See, you know what this is? If this is the equivalent of playing war, this is like pulling out an ace when you throw out a 2. Like, I don't want to waste an ace on a 2. I want an ace to be like a jack. Why can't I pull like a 5 here? I mean, it's a nice bullets card, but still.
Yeah, maybe this would be great if it was in the freaking late 70s, but now, come on, man. That Bullets team couldn't do anything. And I'll say this, the one thing that I remember about the Bullets of the 1980s, Rick Mahorn, very heavy on those Bullets teams. He gets to Detroit, though, changes everything.
It's
conditioning, yes. And Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah. And I'll say this: if it was a T-Wolves Bullets head-to-head logo card checklist, still going T-Wolves. Like the Bullets jerseys were nice, but the logo was whatever.
Yeah, garbage.
Yeah, the jerseys, that red is nice. That was a nice shade.
I love everyone talks about the mid to late 90s logos when it comes to the Timberwolves. I'm all about the blue and gray early 90s.
Is it the JJ Ryder era? The Isaiah Ryder.
Yeah. And I call it the Tom Gugliotta.
There you go. It's another one. All right. So it's 4-3 now. I'm hanging around, but Fensty seems to, let's see what happens with the next card. 3, 2, 1.
Boom.
Oh, well,
John Stockton.
Only we could have pulled one. Malone versus Stockton would have been a hell of a debate.
Ooh, you know what? You know who do you think I would have given it to? Take a guess.
Stockton by a hair?
No, I would have given it to Karl Malone.
All right.
MVP, one of the greatest Stockton, one of the greatest guards too, and he was the assist man. I understand that. I love John Stockton, but Karl Malone was an MVP. He was at one point the second all-time scorer to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
You're right. I mean, listen, the mailman delivered when he had to. I did have his LA Gear shoes at one point. I mean, my dad was a big Stockton fan, though. He loved Stockton. So
I love those Jazz teams, man. I'd go to preseason games. My dad grew up on Long Island, New York. We'd go to Nassau Coliseum. The Jazz would come every year, and we'd make sure we're at that game. And they play. It wasn't like what it is now. Those guys were playing in the preseason.
Preseason, they played. But that was also a different era where athletes used the preseason to get back in shape. Nowadays, athletes come into preseason. You can't come in out of shape. Coach will just run your laps for the first week. You have to. So back in the day, that was to get you back into shape a little bit more. So they had to play in the preseason. All right. We got a 5-3 lead for Fensty, about halfway through the pack here. 3, 2, 1. Richie Adubato.
Oh, I love Richie Adubato. I mean, Charles Jones, no disrespect, but I love me some Richie Adubato. Just a good basketball guy. Recently passed away, unfortunately. Rest in peace and power. But just a guy who just knew basketball. Part of that old era that knew from the 70s and 80s, but still was able to relate, was able to understand where the talent was going. I love Richie Adubato.
I'm going to take the point there. Plus, he's got a nice tie on. That's like a screaming late 80s, early 90s tie there. So we'll take that one there. Now it's 5-4.
Uh-oh.
Things are getting dicey here. Well, Fensty hasn't won in a few polls here. So let's see if he gets this. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Derek Harper.
And mine is Paul Westhead.
You love Paul Westhead.
Well, I mean, I have to. You know why? Paul Westhead, he's the one that created Showtime Lakers in the 80s. Everyone's going to give Pat Riley all the credit, but it was Paul Westhead who started that. I don't know if you watched Winning Time on HBO when it was out, but it showed that how much of a genius Paul Westhead truly was. At this point, he's with the Denver Nuggets. So, yeah, he had Alex English and all that back in the 80s, but nothing really cooking for Denver too much. It was LA's world back in the late 80s, early 90s even.
So who are we thinking here? Derek Harper, who is one of the better point guards of his era, or the guy who doesn't get credit for starting the Showtime Lakers?
So Derek Harper in the 80s with those Mavs teams were ultra competitive. I'm going to give it to Derek Harper there. He was the player. Paul Westhead, the fact that he didn't stick around for that entire run, however that ended up happening, I give the credit to Derek Harper there. Not only effective on the Mavs, but also when he came to the Knicks, a big reason why they went to the NBA Finals. When they got him, the offense was matured even more. I remember that. They had Doc Rivers running the point. He got hurt. They get Derek Harper. Derek Harper was an amazing, true traditional driving point guard.
Or was. So we are tied. I'm on quite the run here.
Although
I see my next card, and I don't know if I'm going to. Well, it depends what you pull here, but we'll see. We got 5 to go, so it's anybody's game. 3, 2, 1. Antoine Carr.
Walter Davis. You win again. Congratulations there. Again, 2 journeymen right there. I'd say Antoine Carr is a bit more recognizable, though.
And also those sweet Kings jerseys from like the late 80s, the one they had Kenny Smith back then.
Yes, that's right. With hair.
With hair, which you're not going to find a lot of that with him over there. And probably like 2 or 3 card wars from now, you probably won't see much. That'll all be gone, depending on how long it takes to record the next few.
I might have a wig by then.
So here we go. I've got the lead. Let's see if I can maintain it here. 3, 2, 1. Utah Jazz card and
David Robinson. David Robinson, who by this point the Spurs weren't going to the finals just yet, but you saw how good David Robinson was. And not only that, but you saw how disciplined David Robinson was. He never really got into scraps, David Robinson.
Oh, he's a Navy guy.
Yeah, he's just a nice military guy. But you got to give it to Robinson.
Well, that was like the Spurs were like a feel-good story when they finally got over the hump, because they were always that team that, okay, they're good, but they had the Rockets in front of them, or they had the Suns in front of them, or the Trailblazers, or the Sonics. And then they finally got their turn once they got Duncan, coincidentally. You know, amazing what happens when you get one of the best power forwards.
That was such a joke because they, like you said, they were contending, and then they happened to suck the previous year.
Season. Yeah.
Right. And then they land Tim Duncan, greatest power forward ever.
Oh, we are tied at 6. 3 more cards to go here. Let's see who can come out on top. 3, 2, 1. Mark West. Bill Fitch.
Bill Fitch. Okay. Bill Fitch, a guy who got into it with players at times and then was essentially run out of town. I'll say this, what I don't like about Bill Fitch, because we just talked about the Spurs, the Twin Towers with Robinson and Duncan. He had the original Twin Towers, Sampson and Olajuwon, and he was the reason why they were no more. So by default, I'm giving you the point because that pisses me off.
What did I say on whose lines I know it don't matter? And it's kind of like the case here, but yeah, I'll take that point because you hate Bill Fitch. I'll take that. Yes. You throw the card. There's certain people whose cards you're just like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know, on an episode of Rip and Riff, which you can watch Mr. Jared Moore and myself, Rip Packs, talk about hockey, football, whatever we're doing. You know, like I've pulled a Ray Caruth card multiple times. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. And that just gets immediately. The cats can play with that one. So we got 2 more cards to go here. I got a 7-6 lead. If I win this one, it's over. So I can clinch here, or we're going to go to a 15th and final card. 3, 2, 1. Michael Adams versus Tom Chambers.
Chambers.
So we're going to a 15th and final card. No disrespect to Michael Adams, but Tom Chambers, hell of a player.
So the Suns in 1990, they beat the Lakers in the playoffs. They knocked their ass out of the playoffs. Tom Chambers was part of those teams, also on the Seattle Supersonics too. But Tom Chambers, a good big man, an all-star, very mobile, can shoot, just a good all-around athlete.
There we go. So Tom Chambers. So we're going to the last card here. And
I don't know what this is. I have it in my hand. I don't know what this is, though.
So I just stacked them up. However, the pack came out. I don't love my chances here. This is more like a 3 of clubs, maybe. If I'm going to put it.
So you pretty much are saying that you're about to lose. I don't know what I have. I do not know right now.
I mean, maybe I do remember him. He was a decent player, but I mean, this is not going to be a big trump card here. But 3, 2, 1 for the championship of round 1.
God.
Orlando Woolridge versus Dave Hoppin. You know what? My 3 of clubs might prevail here.
It does, okay? It does, because Orlando Woolridge, another guy who is a solid big guy, at one point played for the Detroit Pistons too. As you started to see the team disassemble a little bit, they got Orlando Woolridge. He was always that guy. It's like, oh, your main guy leaves, bring in Orlando Woolridge there. I give it to you there. I think that better player than Hoffman. And with the first ever victory of Card Wars, it's AB Adam Bernard. How do you feel? You going to Disney World?
I went to Disneyland over the summer. We can't be affording to go to Disneyland multiple seasons in a row. I think this will be more. I mean, we're talking about card wars, so maybe I go down to a local shop, buy a pack with my non-victory funds here. It's good to get a win. It's the first of many. We got a nice little, and you get to keep the cards here. I mean, we got some decent ones out of this. We got, let's see here.
I got Malone and Stockton. I got a Robinson.
I got a Malone. I got a Derek Harper. I got
Fitch.
Not much beyond that, but I'll take them all. And I like the checklist cards with the logo on them. Like, they're nice. I'll send you the Richie Adubato. That's your boy. Send that in the next shipment.
I'll send you Bill Fitch.
But that's fine. Any Nets from that era, I'm fine with.
The cool thing was these Skybox cards, they just look cool too. That's the other thing. I love these Skybox sets.
So hockey, football cards come first for me. But when when I was going to a card shop and buy this, that, and the other thing, I don't know how many packs of that Skybox and how many of those cards I had at some point or still have in the closet. Skybox and NBA Hoops were the two big NBA cards back then.
Yes.
Those are the big ones.
I think you had Fleer back then too. You had Fleer Topps, Upper Deck, Hoops.
You had other ones, but to me, like the basketball cards you wanted to go and buy were, at least in the early 90s. And then, once glossy cards and stuff like that started coming out, Upper Deck, once like 93, 94 hit to me, they were like the standard basketball.
Yeah.
Any card for a while. And then, the market became what it became. And now Panini owns half of everything. Topps owns the other half. But there we go.
It's just fun, man. It's fun doing this, and it's another way where we can just talk about these players, some of them that we probably haven't thought about in at least 30 years. And that's why Hoops Freak Fensty is there with yours truly and putting it together behind the scenes. It's a great job, AB Adam Bernard. Thank you for hanging with us for the first ever Card Wars. AB up 1-0 in the Forever Series. See you, freaks, later.